to your point about the work that Democrats need to do, new reporting in the Times this morning, just broke a short time ago, of the 30 states that track voter registration, Democrats lost ground to Republicans in every single one. That's the last 4 years. All 30 states between 2020 and 2014. That's a total of a swing of 4.5 million voters to Republicans. So it shows Democrats a lot of things to work on.
Yes, that is the Democrat Party speaking. The Associated Press reporter covering the White House on Morning Joke this morning. He is representing the interests of the Democrat Party. They're losing. They've lost 4.5 million voters, and he's not good at math, Jonathan Lemire. He's a news reporter on television and in print. But I think they gave him his own show on MS-13 DNC now, didn't they? Or he's on with the Willie Geist in the pre show very early. Got to stay up all night. Nobody watches it. Nobody wants to watch it. It's no fun at all. But he said, and I think he mixed up the years. He said that the 30 states, he said only 30 states actually track voters, which is a bit surprising. What do the other 20 states do? And he said that in these states that actually track voter registration and so on, that the Democrats have lost 4.5 million voters that have switched over to the Republican Party. Maybe they're tired of carjackings and firebombings and Molotov cocktails and targeting Jewish people and open borders and Tren de Aragua and MS-13 and illegal alien festivities. They have I am the Fredo Bandido. They love that. And then he said that was he said over the last 4 years, and then he said, I think 2014 to 2020 or something, that it's so lame, it's so confused. This morning on Morning Joke, if this is where a person gets their news, you might understand why they're completely confused.
Democrats lost ground to Republicans in every single one. That's the last 4 years. All 30 states between 2020 and 2014.
Between 2020 and 2014, he's going backward. Normally, you would say between 2014 and 2020, but he might mean between 2014 and 2024. But in all 30 states, and I think we have 50 states, plus a District of Columbia, but that's it. And he says that means Democrats have a lot of work to do because his job, the way he sees it, is to represent the interests of the Democratic Party all the time, every day, just as pretty much every reporter in Washington does across the spectrum. Isn't that amazing? Your Democrat Party, aren't they? Aren't they something? Now let me go to, because we were talking about the Democrat mayor of Boston, Massachusetts, and she yesterday, Michelle Wu, W-U, like the Wuhan Red Death, out of the Wuhan Institute of Virology in Wuhan, China. Mayor Wu is a Democrat, and she had a crazy lady come out, Veronica, with her mariachi band, and they sang, I am the Fredo Bandido, but they sang it in Spanish because they don't know the lyrics to the TV commercial part. See? She's got a giant blue sombrero on. And I kept saying, what kind of a jacket is it, that like mariachi band jacket? And I said, here in the room, I said, I think any woman would be able to tell me what that jacket is called. And while sitting here, I was texted by Maureen, and I was texted by Connie, and both of them said, bolero jacket. Dimwit, it's a bolero jacket. Everybody knows it's a bolero jacket that she's wearing with her giant sombrero, a bright blue bolero jacket, and it's a bolero, right? It's that, and that reminds me of an old movie that, but that's another thing. So she's got the sombrero on and the bolero jacket, and she's singing I'm the Fredo Bandido. That naturally reminded us of Senator Ted Kennedy when he was still up and about and singing to women every chance he got.
Jalisco, 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 tu tienes tu novia, me Guadalajara. Muchacha bonita, la perlas más raja, en todo Jalisco es me Guadalajara.
Very international indeed.
Jalisco no
and then he died. Oh, he'd been drinking all right.
Laredo, will you help us out? Will you vote for Barack Obama?
See, that's the Democrat. They were very international. He's trying to get the illegal alien vote back then, too, I think, was the... and then, thankfully, he didn't offer anybody a ride home because, you know, the old book on Ted Kennedy giving rides home, not a very good history with that. All right, and then the Democrat mayor of Boston, Mass., Michelle Wu, who's out there fighting for illegal stuff. She... illegal immigration is illegal, and illegal aliens are here illegally. And the number of illegal alien Democrats that have been arrested in the Boston area on child sex crimes is almost endless. Illegal aliens from Ecuador, like Gilberto Avila Yara, charged with 20-plus child sexual assault-related offenses, and Sonestes Perez Lopez from Guatemala, charged with 2 counts of indecent assault on a child and battery, and that's okay with Democrats. Jose Fernando Perez, who in the Boston area was charged with 3 counts of forcible rape of a child, 3 counts. And then the Democrats come out to defend the illegal aliens and to shout down ICE, Immigration Customs Enforcement, because they arrest illegal alien criminals who are sexually abusing children. And the Democrats like, hey, we can't have that. And when they say we can't have that, they don't mean we can't have child rape. They mean we can't be arresting child rapists that are illegal alien gang members in the country illegally. Amazing. And the Haitian Akim Mark Desire, charged with sexually assaulting a minor. And Corey Bernard Alvarez, Haitian, again, charged with raping a child under 16 at a migrant shelter because the Democrats are running the migrant shelters. And it's kind of like Occupy Wall Street. Remember when the Occupy Wall Street villages, their tent cities, not just in New York but around the country, had so many sexual assaults that they had to set up rape tents at all of the encampments for Occupy Wall Street. And now Michelle Wu, the Democrat mayor, soundbite number 13, she held a press conference yesterday. You know, Ted Kennedy is from Boston, Mass., too, and the longtime senator from Massachusetts, and he was singing back there when he was living. I think he also sang the Fredo Bandido song. But Michelle Wu, she is out there saying that Democrat values today mean you're standing up for and defending illegal alien gang members that sexually assault children all over the state of Massachusetts.
Stop attacking our cities to hide your administration's failures.
Yeah, they clap. What does that even mean? What are your administration?
Unlike the Trump administration, Boston follows the law.
No. Lie.
And Boston will not back down from who we are and what we stand for.
You stand for illegal alien gang member child rape. That's what you're standing for today because you're a Democrat and you're not on the side of civilization. Isn't that amazing? And she has spent her time at the press conference there being adored by the press and attacking President Trump and lying. I'm sorry, the Trump administration, they're the ones breaking the law. And she said, and Boston is following the law, while she was literally in the midst of supporting illegal immigration, illegal aliens, illegal alien gang members, and opposing law enforcement because she's living every day in violation of federal law, which is the law of the land, by the way. Every day she lives in violation of the law by supporting illegal activity in the form of illegal immigration, illegal aliens, illegal alien gang members, and not cooperating with law enforcement when they want to enforce the law. So she is obviously the one breaking the law. The Trump administration is merely trying to enforce already existing law as passed by the Congress of the United States of America, which is the way that our constitutional republic functions when it functions properly. And she, Michelle Wu, very angry about President Trump.
Most of all, you are wrong on cities. The cities that live in your minds are totally foreign to the residents living in our cities.
The ones that people that aren't murdered.
And we are picking up the pieces of your failures to deliver on your promises.
You're picking up the pieces. No, actually, the federal government is coming in to pick up the pieces because you guys are providing safe haven to illegal aliens who in many instances are criminals, and I'm sure some of them are nice people, to borrow a phrase. But the Democrats are protecting crime. They're protecting criminals. They're protecting the bad guys. And, again, she's doing this on a day when we're learning more details about the illegal alien truck driver who was given a commercial driver's license in California by Gavin Newsom and the gang that he runs with. And the truck driver, Harinder Singh. Here's the headline, quite extraordinary, from the India Times out of India. They're covering it, and CNN is not. Truck driver Harinder Singh fails English and road sign tests after fatal Florida turnpike crash. Online backlash intensifies. Now, Harinder Singh, turns out that he had a test he had to take, and he failed it to get a commercial driver's license, and he failed it miserably. Couldn't answer 10 questions on a test of 12 questions. So he could answer 2, but he couldn't answer 10 out of 12 questions. And the Democrats said, oh, what the hell, let's give him a commercial driver's license. What's the worst that could happen? Now, with that said, let's go to the phones. Let's go to Trucker Scott, calling from the great state of Kansas in the American heartland. Trucker Scott, you're on the Chris Plant Show.
Hey, Chris. Hey, thanks for taking my call. You do an excellent job. I love listening to you, and I've turned a lot of people onto your show. But I wanted to comment about that trucker in Florida, that tragedy. That goes on all the time. And I don't know how many are illegals, but I would say it's probably a high percentage. But I run into them all the time, running through stoplights. It's almost like they don't know the difference between red and green. They stop anywhere on the road to go to sleep. And I can't understand how he got a CDL license. I can remember back in the late 80s, it was a chauffeur's license when I learned to drive. And then they come up with the commercial driver's license, CDL, that was supposed to get rid of all the trash and the bad drivers, and I think that might have worked for a while, but I don't know what's happened. I know there's more government involvement, and it's really sad, but I see that kind of thing that you saw in Florida all the time, and I don't even know if the regular news reported that. I saw it on Fox is where I seen the accident, and if you look at that film, it doesn't even faze the driver.
Right. Yeah, he doesn't bat an eye. He's steely-eyed and stone-faced, and he appears to be a Sikh, an ethnic group, the Sikh. But here's the India Times reporting it. The driver Singh failed the assessment that he's required to take, providing correct responses to just 2 of 12 verbal questions and only accurately identifying 1 of 4 highway traffic signs. All right? And you're talking about where we got commercial truck drivers all over the country from other countries who didn't grow up in our culture, don't understand the norms and the standards that you and I understand.
Exactly. I mean, it's all the time, and there's no courtesy. I mean, you're coming on to the interstate on an entrance ramp, they won't even move over for you. I mean, if you're not paying attention, they'll take you out. And, when you pay for your fuel, the fuel attendants have a hard time. They can't speak English. Now, not all of them, but a majority of them. And, a good example is Salina, Kansas. There's a truck sitting at the stoplight. The other traffic was on green going. He looked and just pulled out in front of everybody, and everybody was honking at him. And he looked at everybody like, hey, what am I doing wrong? I mean, they just don't know they just don't know what they're doing. Yeah. It's scary. I remember when I started driving, you were proud to be a trucker. And I tell you what, I got out of it for about 10 years, and I got back into it, and it's just night and day difference. There's not many old school truckers left, and these large companies, they hire anybody with the pulse.
Yeah, the company that hired this guy, apparently they've taken down their website today. It's vanished from the internet. They're nowhere to be found anymore, and understandably so. Trucker Scott, I'm saluting you, my friend. It's great to hear your voice, and I'm glad you called in to share your story with us. I appreciate it.
All right. Thank you, Chris. Keep
Thanks.
up the good work.
Thanks, Scott. Thanks, man. You too. Hey, do you have maybe a cooking or grilling anxiety that you've got to deal with? You know, that moment of truth when everyone sits down at the table to start eating and you brace yourself when they cut into their meat. Did I just ruin $100 worth of steaks? Well, all that has changed now in the modern world with Chef IQ Sense. We've got them at home. It's the wireless cooking thermometer that turns you into a master chef. It works for all types of cooking, grilling, pan-searing, roasting, everything. It's made easy, I've got to tell you. Just insert the sensor into your steak, your chicken, your fish, whatever it is that you're cooking and eating. You open the Chef IQ app, and you choose how you want your food cooked. You want it rare, medium, well done, any preference that you like, you punch it in, and then it tells you when you're there. Multiple probes for everyone. So everybody gets exactly what they want. Not all the same, right? Then you can sit back and relax. It sends the real-time updates and tells you when to flip it, tells you when to take it off, and how long to let it rest on the counter before you cut into it. Seriously, it's like having a culinary coach in your pocket. No more guesswork for you. No more lid lifting and, peeking in the oven and letting all the heat out and stuff. Dinner disasters. Chef IQ Sense is a precision cooking tool for everyone. And trust me, you're going to wonder how you ever cooked without it. Right now, you can get 15% off the entire website. And all you have to do is use the code PLANT at chefiq.com. CHEF, chefiq.com. That's chefiq.com. And the promo code is PLANT. Ba-dum-ba-dum-ba-dum-ba-dum. Yeah, the video of this illegal alien truck driver given the 18-wheeler license by California. He looks like, whatever. I'm going to go get lunch now. And then he left the state of Florida. I guess he was picked up back in California. How did he get there? I think his truck was wrecked. There was a little back and forth yesterday between the dim-witted governor of California and the wonderful spokeswoman in the Trump administration, Tricia McLaughlin, back and forth on the illegal alien truck driver that has now been charged with killing 3 people in Florida. And the governor of California is naturally throwing rocks and trashing people because that's what the filthies do. And Governor Newsom is definitely one of the filthies. I've got that for you coming up. And the weather. Boy, that weather is wacky. Crime in Chicago, the missing dog, and the Obama Library. Now, the Democrats in Boston, Massachusetts, and in Sacramento, California, they actually have rallies in support of illegal aliens killing Americans. They're Democrats. They're just not on our side. And when it was pointed out that the illegal alien who came into the country illegally as an illegal alien across the U.S.-Mexico border, and California gave him a commercial driver's license, even though he couldn't answer any of the questions that you're required to be able to answer. Driver failed the assessment, the interview with the driver. Investigators administered an English language proficiency assessment in accordance with the federal government's requirements. The driver failed the assessment, providing correct responses to just 2 of 12 verbal questions and only accurately identified 1 out of 4 highway signs. So the Democrats in California said, what the hell, he's an illegal alien. We wouldn't give this to a white guy who grew up here. But this guy's an illegal alien with a turban, so let's give him the commercial driver's license and let him drive across the country and kill people. And now the great spokeswoman at the Department of Homeland Security, Assistant Secretary, Department of Homeland Security, Tricia McLaughlin, who is wonderful, she wrote on Twitter, 3 innocent people were killed in Florida because Gavin Newsom's California DMV, your Department of Motor Vehicles, issued an illegal alien a commercial driver's license. This state of governance is asinine, said Tricia McLaughlin. How many more innocent people have to die before Gavin Newsom stops playing games with the safety of the American public, she said. And she continued, we pray for the victims and their families. Secretary Noem, Kristi Noem at DHS, and Secretary Noem and DHS are working around the clock to protect the public and get these criminal illegal aliens out of America. But the Democrats are giving them bonus packages. And then that's what she tweeted out, Tricia McLaughlin from the Department of Homeland Security. Governor Gavin Newsom responded to her because he is a rectal aperture of the First Order. And he starts with the attack. Governor Gavin Newsom press office responded to the Department of Homeland Security, talking about an illegal alien given a commercial driver's license by California, killing 3 Americans in Florida. And Gavin Newsom said, hey, genius. And it's hey, comma, genius, colon. They love their colons. Hey, genius, the federal government, Trump administration, in all caps and in parentheses, already confirmed that this guy meets federal and state immigration requirements. You issued him a work permit. As usual, he writes, the Trump administration is either lying or clueless. Then he says, P.S. Grok, who was president in 2018, and he's blaming Trump for the illegal alien that was then given a commercial driver's license by the state of California and killed 3 people in Florida. Tricia McLaughlin responded, false. Harinder Singh is in the United States illegally, and his work authorization was rejected under the Trump administration on September 14th, 2020. It was later approved under the Biden administration June 9th, 2021. The state of California issues commercial driver's licenses. There is no national commercial driver's license. Sincerely, comma, genius. That's good. She signed it, genius, as a way of saying GFY to the governor of California, who are starting a civil war in the United States of America with all of their rhetoric and their reckless behavior and on and on and on. Isn't that amazing? The Democrat Party. They're just awful people, horrible, and they don't care about human life. It begins with 1 million abortions a year, more than 1 million abortions a year, including in a lot of big cities, more than 40% of the black population in the womb that the Democrats, they snuff out their lives and they harvest their organs. Isn't that amazing? Just great. The Democrats. Yep. Yes, sir. And the Democrats are putting out fake information that, oh, no, the federal government gives commercial driver's license. The federal government gives illegal aliens legal status. No, California and Democrats in Boston, in Sacramento, California, across the country, they're supporting illegal stuff. And they should really probably be arrested. Some of them should be arrested. At what point, how many Americans have to be killed by the illegal alien that you authorized be allowed to wander the United States and that you authorized to drive an 18-wheeler tractor-trailer truck around the United States? Isn't that amazing? Yes, it is. All right, let's go back to the telephones, Michael. This is, I mean, again, and the news media, they only see the political food fight. They don't see the 3 dead people because they don't care about, let's be honest, because they just don't care about the 3 people killed in Florida by the illegal alien driving the truck that California authorized him to drive. These people are not good people. Boy, are they not good people. I've got so many news stories today. It's just amazing. Amazing, I tell you. Oh, and I'm sorry, we've got Mailbag Day, too. It's Mailbag, for crying out loud. Now, the New York Times, they've got a story today, and that's that Jonathan Lemire clown was whimpering and simpering about it on Morning Joke this morning because he's a left-wing radical who doesn't like the United States and he wants the Democrats to ruin America.
To your point about the work that Democrats need to do, new reporting in the Times this morning, just broke a short time ago, of the 30 states that track voter registration, Democrats lost ground to Republicans in every single one.
Every single one. And they just say the Times because it's the New York Times. And don't you know who we are? To me, the Times is the Washington Times, which is your newspaper of record in Washington, D.C., and we're lucky to have the Washington Times. But then the Times is, it should fold up their tents. They should go home. But the New York Times, I have the story in front of me. The Democratic Party faces a voter registration crisis and a cross-dressing crisis as well. Shane Goldmacher, left-wing radical, with Jonah Smith, left-wing radical, at the New York Times. They write on behalf of their party, the Democrat Party, the Democratic Party is hemorrhaging voters long before they even go to the polls. They're also hemorrhaging monkeypox. A lot of monkeypox being hemorrhaged by them as well. And they write in the New York Times today, of the 30 states that track voter registration by political party, really we have 20 states that don't, I guess, according to the New York Times. That may or may not be true. Democrats lost ground to Republicans in every single one between 2020 and 2024. Now, those are not the years that Jonathan Lemire gave on Morning Joke this morning, so he got that wrong, too, and often by a lot. That 4-year swing toward Republicans adds up to 4.5 million voters, a deep political hole that could take years for Democrats to climb out from. Note the tone and the tenor of the New York Times piece, writing as obvious advocates for the Democrat Party in this case. Stop firebombing the Jews. How about they should self-immolate more and firebomb other people less. The New York Times says the stampede away from the Democratic Party is occurring in battleground states, the bluest states, and the reddest states, too, according to a new analysis of voter registration data by the New York Times. And if you can't believe them, who can you believe? The analysis used voter registration data compiled by L2, a nonpartisan data firm. I thought L2, since the New York Times is using it, I think their nonpartisan status is in question. Few measurements reflect the luster of a political party's brand more clearly than the choice by voters to identify with one party or the other, whether they're registered on a clipboard in a supermarket parking lot, at the Department of Motor Vehicles, or the comfort of their own home, or somebody else's home, because they are Democrats after all. The fewer and fewer Americans are choosing to be Democrats. In fact, for the first time since 2018, more new voters nationwide chose to be Republicans than Democrats last year. All told, Democrats lost about 2.1 million registered voters between 2020 and 2024 elections in the 30 states, along with Washington, D.C., that allow people to register with a political party. In the remaining 20 states, voters do not register with a political party. Republicans gained 2.4 million. That doesn't make any sense either, but it's the New York Times, so what do you expect? There are still more Democrats registered nationwide than Republicans, partly because big blue states like California allow people to register by party, while red states like Texas do not. But the trajectory is troublesome for Democrats and the New York Times, and there are growing tensions over what to do about it. That can't lead to good things. Now they're going to do fentanyl, and they're going to start shooting people. You know how the Democrats respond. Democrats went from nearly 11 percentage point advantage over Republicans on Election Day in 2020 in those places with partisan registration to just over a 6% edge in 2024. They start panicking early. You know, one of the Democrat Party's slogans is, it's never too early to panic. So wait a minute, you're still up by 6 points, and now you're in a gender panic over this whole thing? Amazing. I don't want to say, quoting now, I don't want to say the death cycle of the Democratic Party, but there seems to be no end to this, said Michael Prusser, who tracks voter registration closely as the director of data science for Decision Desk HQ, an election analysis site. Doubtless hardcore Democrats because the New York Times went to them. There is no silver lining or cavalry coming across the hill. This is months after month after month, year after year. The shift also previewed Democratic weaknesses in 2024. The party saw some of the steepest declines in registration among men and younger voters. The Times analysis found 2 constituencies that swung sharply toward Mr. Trump. So all 4 presidential battleground states covered by the New York Times analysis, Arizona, Nevada, North Carolina, and Pennsylvania, showed significant Democratic erosion. And that's mental and intellectual erosion, I think, is what they're, and gender erosion, because they're not very bright people, are they? No, they're not. All right, let's take a phone call, Michael. Let's go. And and I do have the mailbag day. Have it right here. Mailbag questions, sometimes known as queries, if Democrats send in questions. Let's go to Wallington, calling from the great state of Kansas. Wallington, you're on the Chris Plant Show.
Hey, good morning, Mr. Chris Plant. How are you today?
Very well, sir. Thank you very kindly.
Good. I much like the previous caller from Kansas. I used to have my own trucking business, and I got into trucking in 1983 when I got laid off from the railroad. So I had driven truck for 25 plus years. I had some health issues that allowed me to let my CDL relapse and my physical. I got my physical in early 20, I believe it was, and went to take the test to get my CDL again. I wound up taking it 4 times because I wasn't smart enough to pass the new CDL test. Really?
They failed you 4 times, but not this illegal alien in California who failed it 2, and then he's driving his truck in Florida.
Yes, and I might mention that I was fluent in English, too, so I understood the questions, but I just couldn't pass the test.
Fluent in English, couldn't pass the test, but the illegal alien who couldn't answer the questions in English did pass the test and get his commercial driver's license.
Yes, and I've got well over 2 million miles driving, and I had no accidents. I think I had maybe 2 speeding tickets, but I just couldn't pass that test.
Wow. So when you see what happened in California, what occurred to you, Wellington?
Somebody really wasn't paying attention at all, and both of them, one are in the government and the other one is in jail.
Right. Yeah, that's right. Yeah, and they're probably both guilty of crimes at this point. Now, Wellington, I don't want to brag, but you just talked about driving well over 2 million miles with no accidents and only a couple of speeding tickets. I get a speeding ticket mailed to me about once a month in D.C. Every time I drive by the Russian embassy, they mail me a photo speeding ticket. And I got to tell you, I was this is going to sound like I'm bragging, Wellington. I have a car that is now 9.5 years old, and I bought it new 9.5 years ago. I have 21,000 miles on it.
Wow.
Yeah.
Well, I'm glad you mentioned, the Russian embassy. I'm coming back there in a couple of weeks, and you've just described to me places I need to avoid.
Yeah, that's a fact. Yeah, they got the speed camera there, and it's I think it fakes it, too. I think I'm going like 2 miles over, and it tells me I'm going 10 miles over. I don't like it, but they got 500 more cameras this year, speed cameras and red light cameras in Washington, D.C., so keep your eyes peeled, as painful as that may sound. I love the name Wallington, too. That's great. God bless you, sir. That's good stuff. I'm glad you called in. Thank you. Thank you. You know, the big wireless companies are pulling one over on all of us, I tell you. It's time to make the switch to consumer cellular. Listen, I made the switch. I'm getting the same fast, reliable, nationwide big wireless coverage without the big wireless cost. And it's not just about saving money on your bill every month, although that's real good. It's about not being used and abused by the big cell phone companies, isn't it? Do you even know how much data you use every month? Probably not. I know I don't know. Most people over 50 use less than 8 gigs of data in a month. But, you know, most 19-year-olds use about 10 times that. Big Wireless wants to shove you into an unlimited data plan and charge you for it because they need you to pay for the cost of younger people using all that data that you're not using. But if you're not using all that data, you're the one being used and abused, I say. Had enough of that? Go with Consumer Cellular. They set me up with a service on a phone, a beautiful phone with a great camera, and it's incredibly easy to switch. You call somebody and you talk to an actual person on the phone, not a push-button directory and a robot, based right here in the United States, the person you talk to, not on a space platform somewhere. Real human beings who are actually helpful here in the United States. Only take you about 20 minutes. So give them a call today and make the switch. Call 1-800-760-0702. That's 800-760-0702. Great call. Now, we talk to normal people, to regular people, to pro-American people. Democrats don't call in much. We don't have a ton of time, but let's jump to the telephones. Let's go to Dave, calling from Niles, Illinois, just outside beautiful Chicago. Dave, you're on the Chris Plante Show.
Great show, Chris, as usual. Big fan. The template for this is George Ryan, our former governor.
Uh-huh.
There's got to be an investigation of this California thing because this can't be just ignorance or giving them a participation award. There could have been bribes or payoffs to get that commercial license. Also, the government has a duty. They do have immunity. It's limited. This is this is the minimum gross negligence, if not intentional negligence.
On the part of the state of California. Yeah, you're right. And it would be nice if we started holding our governments accountable in the United States. That would ruin the Democrat Party right away.